Good morning everybody. I am Dr. Usha Shekhawat, Professor and HOD Department of Gynae Obstetrics, Mahatma Gandhi Medical College. So today we are going to talk about heart disease during pregnancy. With the advancement of the medical sciences, the new generation antibiotics and new surgical procedures leads to the increased number of cardiac patients getting pregnant. And in India, most common heart disease in the pregnancy is the RHD, that is the rheumatic heart disease. And while in the developed countries the number of RHD cases has declined, the congenital heart disease is also a major etiology. If we see the hemodynamic changes during pregnancy, the blood volume increases in the first trimester, it increases twofold in the second trimester and more in the third trimester. The cardiac output also increases similarly as the trimester advances. The heart rate also similarly increases. The systolic blood pressure in the first trimester remains equivalent, but it might start increasing during the decrease in the second trimester, and in the third trimester again it remains stable. In the diastolic blood pressure, similar things happen, that it is usually goes down during the first, second and the third trimester. The pulse pressure also increases in the first and the second trimester, and the systemic valvular resistance decreases during the pregnancy as the pregnancy advances. The blood volume increases during the pregnancy to maintain the demands during the pregnancy and to maintain uteroplacental circulation, and decreases the harmful effect of blood loss at the parturition. The blood volume starts increasing from 8th week onwards and peaks at 32 to 36 weeks, approximately 50%, and this leads to increased cardiac output, which starts as early as 10 weeks, peaks at 24 to 28 weeks and remains same till parturition. So this is the hemodynamic changes in the pregnancy. As per the volume, the volume increases, the plasma volume increases and the red cell volume, but as red cell volume increases less than the hemodilution and plasma volume, that is why there is hemodilution in the patients. So the increase of the cardiac output leads to the physiological ejection systolic murmur from 10 to 12 weeks till the beginning of the postpartum period. Peripheral vascular resistance decreases during pregnancy, and it is due to the direct effect of the placental hormones or vasodilator prostaglandins released. This leads to the decrease in the systemic and the pulmonary blood pressure. The mean arterial pressure and the diastolic pressure decreases, and this leads to decrease in the blood pressure by 10 to 15 millimeter of mercury in the second trimester, and this may conceal the diagnosis of hypertensive disease of the pregnancy because of a physiological fall in that. Then the aortic root increases in size and compliance. This facilitates the aortic dissection in the patients with Marfan syndrome. That is why it is a high risk pregnancy with Marfan syndrome. So the effect of pregnancy on the heart disease, the hemodynamic changes leads to increased workload to the diseased heart and may lead to the CHF, pulmonary edema, arrhythmias and aortic dissection. The periods during pregnancy when the chances of cardiac decompensation is greater are either 12 to 16 weeks when the hemodynamic changes starts, then from 28 to 32 weeks when they peak, and during labor when every uterine contraction with every contraction throws 300 to 500 milliliter of blood in the maternal circulation from the uteroplacental circulation. During the second stage of labor, maternal pushing decreases the venous return, and immediately after the baby delivers, the placenta separates, the venous return increases, and this fluctuation is dangerous to the diseased heart. Immediately postpartum, this increase in the venous return may lead to congestive cardiac failure. So the 4 to 5 days after delivery, patients with Eisenmenger syndrome, the aortic stenosis, the cyanotic heart diseases may deteriorate as of the decreased peripheral resistance with the right to left shunt and pulmonary embolism from silent iliofemoral thrombus. The effect of maternal cardiac disease on the pregnancy. Now what are these? The fetal morbidity is always secondary to the preterm growth restriction due to the relative inability to maintain the uteroplacental circulation. The fetal death, acute maternal deterioration of this or the severe chronic deterioration, this coincides with the functional impairment of the heart and severity of the chronic hypoxia. So the fetal risk to the congenital heart disease increases to 4 to 6% in the mothers having the same. So how do we take care of the patients with heart diseases? The preconceptional counseling is must, as to we should know what type of the heart disease is there. Then the assessment and stratification of the maternal and fetal risk, management of the pregnancy and complications of heart disease. Then determining the time, mode and place of delivery. Patients with heart disease should be encouraged to complete their family early and discouraged from too many pregnancies. The high risk patients should be advised for sterilization, especially if, for example, the pulmonary hypertension, Eisenmenger syndrome, cyanotic heart disease, poor left ventricular function and Marfan syndrome. And what are the indications where the pregnancy is totally contraindicated? So in these patients, the indications are the Eisenmenger syndrome, the primary pulmonary hypertension, coarctation of aorta, Marfan syndrome with aortic involvement, and the relative contraindications are the class 3 or 4 disease where family is completed, severe aortic stenosis, cyanotic congenital heart disease and history of CHF during the previous pregnancy. Whenever possible, the correction of the cardiac disease should be done before pregnancy, like the congenital defects, the mitral stenosis, the symptomatic or the severe MS with mitral valve area less than 1 centimeter square, severe aortic stenosis where the valve area should be less than 1 centimeter square, or impaired exercise tolerance, reduced left to ventricular function. How is the cardiac diseases detected during pregnancy? By history, by physical examination, and we should note the signs, symptoms of the heart disease and normal pregnancy may be, because they can be similar, so we have to differentiate between the two. So there may be history of dyspnea, palpitations, estimation of the effort tolerance, and we have to see by the NYHA classification, then history of rheumatic fever, cardiac surgery and hypertension, and drug history. So what is the NYHA functional classification of the cardiac disease? The NYHA 1 is where there is no limitation, ordinary ordinary physical activity does not cause undue fatigue, dyspnea or palpitation. NYHA 2, slight limitation of the activity, comfortable at rest, ordinary physical activity results in fatigue, dyspnea or palpitation. Then NYHA 3, marked limitation of the physical activity, comfortable at rest but less than ordinary activity will lead to symptoms. Now NYHA 4, symptoms of failure are present at rest with any physical activity and increased discomfort is present. So the NYHA functional classification, the maternal progress is strongly related to NYHA functional class prior to the pregnancy. Maternal mortality varies from less than 1% in those with NYHA 1 or 2 to around 7% in those with NYHA 3 or 4. Now on physical examination, what will we see? There will be clubic, cyanosis, features of Marfan syndrome, pulse we'll see on examining the pulse. There will be arrhythmias. We have to examine the BP, the JVP, and the precordial examination. There would be murmurs, right ventricular hypertrophy, presence of loud second heart sound for pulmonary hypertension. Then for investigation, we have to suggest the ECG, the echo, where sometimes this is the only reliable method for determining whether a cardiac murmur is significant or non-significant in a pregnant patient. Thank you.